All right, we'll call this meeting of the Baker County Tourist Development Council to order. I'll make sure you wake you guys up. We'll start the meeting like we always do with the invocation and the pledge. The invocation be led by Commissioner Hartley.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Lord Heavenly Father, we ask you to go with us as we serve the people of Baker County. Lord Heavenly Father, give us wisdom to make right decisions. And Lord, just bless our county, Lord. Send the rain, Lord, to our state, county. Lord Heavenly Father, protect all the men and women that help us each day and serve the county. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. All right, we'll start under our new business. Item 1, TDC fund balance review. You can see what our current fund balance, $1.5 million, and what we spent for the last 6 months. Sarah, on the pooled cash, is that just in the general fund of the county? Is that what that means?
Yes, I mean, it's in its own GL account, but yes, sir.
Okay.
It is separated in its own account.
And how is that invested? Is it in a money market? Is it in just a savings account, checking account?
It should be in the county's money market. We do have a high interest savings account where all of our funds, if we're not using them, all those reserve accounts are in that account. So I would have to verify that to be certain, but it's my understanding that it should be located there.
Would you do that? I just kind of took that interest for 6 months and doubled it and
Yeah.
did it as a percentage of the 1.5, and it seemed a little low. And I was
Okay.
just a little curious about that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I was concerned about that also. Now, I know anything like with Fidelity, I know you probably don't use Fidelity, I'm sure, but in their money market, if you're over $100,000, that's at 3.5 right now is what it's paying.
No.
So I thought that number was pretty low.
Yes, for sure.
And if I don't know, is there anywhere else we can park the money? I mean,
That would be a decision.
That is a
for,
county commissioner decision.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
What does that figure out to be? About 22,000.
It was only like 1.2%. It wasn't very much.
I know it couldn't be very much. It couldn't be very much, and it just seems like we're losing.
Even look at the reserve interest and the general interest. You said
I just looked at that revenue interest, 11,333.
So it looks like it's splitting it into two different numbers there. You've got a reserve interest and a general interest on this. So I'm not sure. But we can find that out for you guys.
Okay. Thank you. Well, since you pointed that out, now I look at this page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I look at I come down and I look at November 2025 general interest and reserve interest, and then I see January 2026, the reserve interest went from $1,900 to $128. And I don't see one for December unless that happened to be November and December, but yeah, okay. Well, there's some more on the next page.
So we'll get your questions back to Ms. Brooklyn and have her do some clarification for your report for next month.
I didn't hear what she said. Anybody else have any comments on the fund balance? All right, we'll move on. Item number 2, funding requests. Beat the Heat. Ms. Phillips. How are you?
Good, how are y'all?
Very well. State your name and address for the record, please.
Sunny Phillips, 9412 Tower Road, Glen 32040.
Thank you. All right, tell us what you got going here.
All right, this was our third annual Beat the Heat Bulls and Barrels, our spring rodeo that we put on. We brought in one of our vendors. He was actually 1,400 miles from home, so he spent the whole week with us in McClenny. He's out making a big run. We had a lot of Brazilians, people from out of state come. Our gates, I mean, as far as spectators, a lot from different areas. We had a lot of Columbia County, a lot of Bradford County contestants. They were from everywhere as well, and they stayed over with us all 3 days.
All right, very good.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
you're requesting $3,800, correct?
Yes, sir.
And 800 of that is EMS,
EMS,
correct?
yes, sir.
Okay. Being that we're kind of awash on the I mean, is there any way we can get a better deal on that?
That is a reduced rate.
That is a reduced rate, $800?
Yes, sir. It's the same rate we actually charge to the
You
old.
shop around to other EMS places, you'll find out that's a very good deal.
Yes, sir.
It just seemed like we're just handing money from one, to the other, and I thought, well,
Well, in reality, you are, but you're paying it out of a restricted fund that comes from, assessments or either the general fund, depending on if you've got
Right.
your fire folks there or your EMS folks. So you've got the TDC fund that can help offset those costs.
okay. And I know most of everything you're spending is for advertising.
Yes, sir,
Seems to
all
be
of
what's-
it is,
yeah.
yes, sir. Other than the EMS, everything's strictly advertising, but I also go to several other counties, and I don't just advertise in Baker.
Yeah,
I'm,
right, that's, well,
all
that's
around
what
it.
we want you to do.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Anybody else? Comments, questions? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
Have a motion and a second for approval. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Motion carried, young lady.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Item 3, funding request, Spring Blooms Market, Little Ladies Lemonade. How are you?
Do we have any tasting?
Not with me. Green check.
There's that Staples here. That's part of it.
We'll be looking for you on the 11th. How
Yes,
about that?
sir.
Good. Give us your name and address, please.
My name's Christina Powell with Little Ladies Events and Entertainment. Address is 89 Railroad Avenue, Baldwin, Florida.
All right, thank you. So tell us what you have going on here.
So the Little Ladies are producing these larger events at the Baker County Fairgrounds. We're advertising, within the county and outside of the county. We have signs that we're making, we're promoting on Facebook. We'd like to do radio ads and really take it to the next level to really advertise around Baker County to try to bring people within the county. So this is one of 3 events that I have. I'll have a 4th one towards Christmas time too. I'll submit applications for those as well, but this one just for the spring blooms.
How many vendors do you have committed?
At this point, 91. Our flyer says 100. I still have people actively reaching out to me each day for it.
Okay.
So we have, our vendors, food trucks, we have bounce house that's gonna be there, we have face painting and, all that fun stuff.
All right. Looks like your request is for 1,500, is that
Yes,
right?
sir. Mhm.
When is the event? It's
April 11th.
April 11th.
A week from Saturday.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Is this the first annual, or?
This will be the first one.
This
Yes,
will be
sir.
the first annual?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Your banners, I guess you're requesting the $400 for the banners, correct?
banners.
Yes. Can they be reused? Or?
I mean, it would be specific to this one
Oh,
because, you know,
okay.
with the name.
Okay, I just-
We've put on other events outside of Baker County, so it's not the first event I've done, but these are the larger scale ones that we're doing at the fairgrounds. I started out at like HOAs and apartment communities, and I always had more vendors than slots, and so I figured we had to go big with it,
Oh,
so.
Okay, good.
Sometimes you can change the date on them and reuse them,
Yeah,
and so, but most of the time it's one event.
some of the ground signs that I have made aren't necessarily just for the name, but I'll do other ones that say the type of vendors that I have that like I'll put around the fairgrounds or the events that I'm doing. So
Mhm.
like, you know, fresh squeezed lemonade and boiled peanuts and, you know, baker goods and stuff. So just to kind of advertise around the fairgrounds to bring people in. And, you know, other ones that say like we have vendors inside. So lots of different signs that I do.
I think, oh, I'm sorry. I think we do request our emblem be put on them too, I
I'm
think.
sorry?
Our emblem,
Yes.
the TDC emblem,
Uh-huh.
I think that's one of our.
Has to be on
That would go on the banner.
Okay.
Sure.
it. Question I have is, the vendors that are around Baker County, are they involved in that?
We have quite a few Baker County vendors that have reached out, because we started out as a lemonade stand, and we still do it too. So I already was talking to a lot of the different Baker County vendors, and a lot of them actually have storefronts here that are involved, and then I have other people from outside of the county, Duval.
So it's more of a craft, is that what this is?
It's more like a family fun event, because you have, you know, the craft vendors that come in, you have baked goods, you know, different types of vendors,
So it'll
woodwork
be
and.
food offered there?
Oh, yeah, we
food
have
truck?
4 food trucks at each of the larger events.
Mr. Chairman, comment?
Yes.
Is there a fee to get into the event? or is it-
No, no fee.
The
I
only-
brought a flyer if you wanted to see it.
I've seen your signs around there.
Yeah, I have
Good.
seen those too.
This is, it started out with just the one, but we ended up with a lot of vendors that I was putting on there, so we had to go a second page with it.
Let's see, you're asking for 15, but your advertising is 14, but, I guess it's
But
just.
the advertising.
Well, I added up the advertising, it's actually 1,400, if I'm adding it correctly.
We've funded things outside of
Yeah,
advertising.
well, it is,
All right, any more comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I noticed on the address it's Baldwin, Florida,
Yep.
not Baker County,
That's my personal address, that's not where it's being held.
Yep.
but, that's where the event, she owns the event, or,
Is there an issue with not being a Baker County resident, that you're asking?
yes.
Yeah.
I remember if it was
I think
that-
because it's in the county though,
Yeah.
I don't think that, to me, that's not a big issue, Mark.
Could be, and I don't know if that will be or not. I didn't know if there was any, I couldn't remember on our, stipulations if it is. That's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
I don't think any of our documents say that they have to be a Baker County resident.
Okay. Just wanna make sure.
All right, anybody else? Nope, nothing. All right. Hearing no more discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the $1,500.
Second.
Have a motion and a second for approval. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Try to swing by there and see how it goes.
As far as next steps, is there anything particular, somebody that I could talk with, just making sure that everything's done exactly how it's supposed to be?
That young lady right down there.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Do you
Yep.
have a card or
Yeah,
information?
I'll be
Okay.
okay.
Thank you.
I would, during that conversation, I'd like to hear some post-event data, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Yep, thank you. All right, item 4, funding requests, Independence Day. Mr. Dylan Pullen, our new Chamber Executive Director.
Mr. Chairman, members of the council, my name is Dylan Pullen. I'm the Executive Director of the Baker County Chamber of Commerce. Address is 215 North County Road 23A. Before you today, the first item that the Chamber is requesting is the continued support for the Independence Day celebration. It is my understanding, and you will have to forgive me for not having attended one before, but it's my understanding that this is a very long-standing event. The Chamber took it over upon the request of some citizens who wanted the event to continue upon their retirement, and the Chamber has been performing such duties for numerous years now. And so the Chamber is requesting that you guys continue that support. The event costs are relatively the same. What really comes out to the difference is the increase in advertisement. We have heard from citizens in Baker County that they were unaware of this event in the past, and we have heard from people who are outside of Baker County who would like to attend the event. And so the majority of the increase that we're requesting, the $2,200 increase, does fall under the advertisement. So you see radio advertisement, local advertisement, social media advertisement, and banners and signs. And what we mean by that is stuff that would go along the entry points to Baker County. So not necessarily in the city of McClenny, but the goal is that the through traffic who are stopping to get something for gas, maybe it's residents coming in, maybe it's somebody passing through, that they would see that we have events upcoming. Of course, the thing that's really new is those social media targeted ads. You can get a lot of bang for your buck these days off social media. You can set a radius to make sure that we're not just covering Baker County. That's not the purpose of tourism funds. It's really to reach outside of Baker County, and we can track those numbers pretty well. As you guys can see, the event budget versus the TDC request, the $10,000 difference is there's the fireworks. Those are donated by Phantom Fireworks. They have already committed to doing that again this year and making it a great event. I have received feedback from those who participated in this event in the past that number one, it is hot, and number two, it is small, and there's nowhere to park. So we are taking that into consideration this year. There are no permanent plans. Really need to see where we stand on funding before we can proceed. But there is some opportunity for us to say, we're not going to do this all day long. We're going to move this into the afternoon once that sun gets down just a hair to cool it off a little bit and really focus it there. As well as one difference between this budget and the previous budgets that you've seen is lights and sound. The company who was providing that to the chamber is no longer in business. They have retired. We did get quotes for lights and sound. I was not going to dare bring that number to the chairman of this council for my first meeting. So the reason also for the increase in band is we would be requiring the band that you have to provide your own lights and sound. We don't have the possible funding to fund a professional company to come in here and do that for us. So that is the request before you today.
All right. Comments, questions for anybody?
I would like to see a attendance
Count?
after,
Sure.
just to see
Yes, sir.
participation wise.
Happy to do that, and we do have planned, I've done this before in some previous locations of employment, is you put out a very easy sign. Baker Business Center does them, $32. I know that because I order them all the time. And you just put what zip code are you joining us from? And you have Sharpies, and you let people write what zip code they're joining us from. And attendance counts, those sort of counts tell us what zip code outside of Baker County they're attending. And that's how you can, the old analog way, on top of the digital marketing, really figure out where you're pulling your audience from to bring some numbers back next year to the TDC and try to compare those numbers for you.
Yeah, that, we're evolving toward that, I can
Yes, sir.
promise you. You know, we're gonna wanna see some data at the end and see where they came from if we can and how many.
Sure.
So,
And from my experience also, there are a lot that just attend the fireworks.
Yep.
Right.
They don't come to the festival during the day, but if you park anywhere near the ball fields, I mean, if you can get it closed, you're doing good. Unless
Yes,
you get
yes,
really
ma'am.
early. So, yeah, I would say even the festival is a good attendance, plus the fireworks are even greater.
It seems that's the main event that everybody
Oh, yeah.
cares about, is those fireworks at the end of the day.
Yeah.
that's right. I'm a little surprised about the complaints about parking when you think around the football field and you think around the baseball field, being able to park back around there. That's a
Yes,
little
sir.
You can
surprising.
get up close to it, there you get up and
Yeah,
walk a little bit.
that's, yeah.
That might
Everybody
be a
wants to
problem.
park at the front door.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Well, I try to attend, and I've attended for the last several years, about 5, 6, 7 years. Although you do have to walk maybe from the football field over, but, you know,
Yeah.
that I just don't see as a complaint.
Yeah.
I'm
Sure.
I'm with the chairman on that one.
Yeah.
I don't see it as a complaint.
On the opposite side, you've got the parking lot right there at the baseball field that you're just.
All
around the
around
gate
it.
from the
You're
opposite
exactly
side of
right,
the
yeah.
park.
You have
It's pretty close.
CFT.
Mhm, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, lots of parking, it's not right
Yeah.
in the
Right.
parking.
It's not at the front door, I'm telling you,
Not
that's what.
convenient enough parking, how about that?
Yeah.
A lot of
You
folks-
start running a trolley, then.
There you go. Well, maybe we can charge, and that way next year my request will be a little lower.
Anything else? All right, hearing none, anybody make a motion?
Motion to approve 15 million, 15,000, I'm sorry.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for approval of the request. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Motion carried. All right, item number 5, I think you're still up, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of council. This is the second request that we have before you today, the 2026 Discover Baker County Destination Guide. Going to take just a moment to tell you why we're even here discussing this and how it's been done traditionally. So traditionally, the Chamber has produced either a visitor or relocation guide or a Life in Baker guide. This is the one that was done from 2024 to 2025. That we did in partnership with a media group that's not in Baker County and doesn't do too much business here, but nonetheless, this is what we got. I don't know about you, but if you're traveling to check out Baker County, I'm not sure you're going to pick this up and carry it around with you all day long. And so we wanted to go with something different, went through the old dusty files and found some guides like we did in 2013 and thought that's a little bit better. So this is about the size of what we're looking at producing. We will include the maps inside of the guides. You would be shocked how many people call our office and still want old-fashioned maps. And we're always happy to provide them. So we're looking to provide a guide like this. The biggest difference between this guide and previous guides is you do these in partnerships with a media group and you sell advertisements for them. Okay, and then when all the ad money's collected in, there's a set price contract for producing the guides. If there's anything left over, it's a fundraiser for the chamber. If not, then you must pay that remaining balance. What I'm proposing is to get rid of the advertisements inside of the guide. I think that they're just clumsy and they're just distracting. I also personally hope none of the businesses kill me. Feel that a visitor coming into Baker County versus a resident of Baker County, visitors don't really look at the professional services that are inside of these visitors guides. They look at your mom and pops, your restaurants, your hotels, but I'll pick on an insurance company just because the chairman's in front of you know, visitors typically aren't looking for insurance providers, and so I also don't really believe it to be fair and reasonable to request them their assistance with it. And so what we're proposing today is a 28 to 32 page destination guide. The request before you, the budget breakdown says 20 pages. We heard right back from the publishing company right after submitting this request that they believe that they can actually fit 4 more pages for this dollar amount. And so, of course, we appropriated the pages to the amount. And that's where you come up, the total cost for developing this and publishing this is $12,000, of which 20 to 24 pages would be full of tourism content, 4 pages would be with chamber content, and 4 pages would be from Choose Baker content. And therefore, the cost breakdown would be that the TDC is, we're requesting the TDC to approve the request of $8,000, the chamber due to economic development, through Choose Baker due to. So we're just appropriating that page cost for what the amount of pages we're paying to put in for that guy. They'll be color coordinated. So when you open it up, if you see this green header, there will be hypothetically green for tourism, then there might be an orange color for chamber and a brown color for Choose Baker, but it's pretty organized, pretty sleek. This also includes the cost of 3,000 copies being published and delivered. It is my understanding that if the TDC would approve this request, and that approval would be upheld by the County Board of Commissioners, we would immediately enter into the contract and we would have these delivered within 2 months. 3 months at latest. I'm going to be optimistic and say 2 months that they would be delivered here, which was important for us because it's getting springtime. People are getting out and about, and we'd like to have these. As far as 2 additional things, where we would put them, county could, of course, take them. We put them in local businesses. We put them wherever people would typically travel to, your hotels and accommodations. We would put them in the chamber office. Chambers in other counties, and some of our surrounding counties, the chamber acts as the designated marketing agency for the county, for their TDC, and the visitor center for their county. So you find that a lot of your local people automatically come to the chamber, assuming we have assumed that role of your visitor center and your designated marketing agency. So people will come to us requesting it. In fact, for example, I even bought a letter that I received this morning in the mail by an individual requesting me to mail one to her because they're coming into Baker County and would like a visitors and destination guide. So that's why we're taking this on. My understanding is you guys are considering how to move forward with tourism, but that's why we chose to take it on in the interim because I think they're looking at us to fill in the gap, and so we're happy to do that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
the 20 pages, what is on the 20 pages?
So it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
In-
sorry, I jumped in.
In fact, if you flip through this, it has pages about every park that you can go to, accommodations that you can visit, Shoals Park, Duck Pond Park, where can you go spend the day, the restaurants you can eat at, the hotels where you can stay at, just a little bit of history. I can't commit to it because I haven't spoken with them, but it's my understanding there's the beginning stages of some planning for a walking and destination tour, if you will, of McClenny. That will probably not meet the publishing deadline this year, but in the future, that sort of material would be included. So it's a little bit of history, a little bit of tourism, a little bit of businesses where you shop, eat, that sort of thing locally. So those come up with the page count in here.
Who's responsible for the content?
So the content would be up to the publisher who has the contract. So we partnered this time with the Baker County Press. They proposed the best number. So they would produce all the content, all the photography. All they do is I give them some marching orders. They come back and give a draft. We'll review the draft, send back notes, and then send it to publishing.
Are
Would
they
you-
going to, sorry.
Go ahead.
Are they gonna include our historical landmarks, like the old jail and the library area? They'll have such
We can-
as that in there?
We can most certainly make sure that they are included. Yes, sir. I would expect for it to be, but I'll most
Yeah.
certainly make sure that they
I
are.
just think that's one of the
Sure.
greatest things we still have in the county.
Certainly.
Is those buildings.
Certainly. And we would expect going forward. It says 26, 27. Those aren't hard dates. It's really at which point we run out or at which point the material changes substantially where we need to update it. Of course, this time it's $6,000 for the content and $6,000 for the publishing. We don't expect $6,000 for content again. At that point, you're just updating, a little bit of adding, a little bit of subtracting. But we do not expect for us to come back before you again and ask for this substantial amount of funding. This is really to get it back to the place where we can edit it.
Is there any way on those, I noticed they're a little wide, and I've kind of looked, and I don't know if they'll fit or not, but on the interstate, we send I know the Olusty Festival, they put the cards in there, they send it to the state. And
Yes,
they
sir.
add it to the, whatever that thing is called. But I just wanna make sure that if it's too large, they're gonna lay it around and
Yes, sir.
it's gonna get lost.
Yes, sir.
I just wanna make sure if we need to make it a little smaller or whatever they need to do to make sure it fits in there. I think that's a good place to put
Sure,
things. That's
sure.
where the most people come.
Great point, Commissioner. We can always call Visit Florida's office, who manages the visitor center, besides your county ones, right, your state level visitor center.
Yes,
And
yes,
figure
the
out
state
what
level.
dimensions they need. Some of them submit requests to us already, where they just email us, say, this is what we need, we mail it to them. So we can certainly contact their office to see what dimensions
I
would
just
or would
think
not be
that's
allowed.
an important thing that we need to make sure it'll fit.
Sure. Yes, sir.
How long will it take for them to put this together? And obviously, I guess it would be digital first, and somebody's got to okay it.
Yes, sir.
I'm assuming. Do you have a timeline on
We
that?
believe 2 months would be getting the content together. Would take about a month and a half of it, and then the rest of 2 months is just printing time. It's just sitting it on and getting it back.
Is there any way that we could review that before it goes to print?
I think so.
I mean, I don't know, I'm speaking for all of
Yeah.
us,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know
that's-
whether,
Seeing a draft would be good.
Sure. I think if that's the pleasure of the council, I'd be happy to send a draft to Ms. Sarah, and she can email it to each of you guys and get your opinion on it.
That was gonna be my comment.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, also, we had talked at one time about purchasing a container that these would fit exactly, that we could put in the hotels, or we could put on counters at restaurants, that would be particular to that size, and then set them up. And so now that
We have them.
we have
have
them,
them.
I was
okay.
gonna say, I still have the one that would get the
Sometimes
LSD
it's
battle
very
stuff in and all.
difficult to get them up in places though, because they stick them somewhere they can't, I won't say hotels I've been to go refill them, and they don't even know where they put them. It's never been out. So, you know, I'm a little leery of them in the first place, because I don't know if you get your bang that you should get for them in businesses, so to speak.
Sure.
Because I think they get just moved somewhere.
Sure.
I don't think it's
Sure.
intentional. I just think they're cleaning the counter, they move this over here, or they put them behind the whatever happens.
I would tend to agree
So,
with you, Commissioner, that you get your more bang for your buck by putting them in the destination guides and your chamber offices, your maybe some of your,
Interstate.
yes, there you go, closer to where they're coming in, and the digital version, because there will be a digital version of this format. That could be public, certainly on the chamber's website, and certainly on your website as well, and most certainly we would include the TDC logo. I think the plan is to put it on the back of these guides.
I'm assuming, okay, you're not charging for restaurants, or you're not charging
sir.
for any business, okay. Is it gonna be like a page or so dedicated to restaurants, a page dedicated to hotels? Because, I mean, if people picks it up, I mean,
Sure.
they might, you know, we have a lot of mom and pop. And how will you go to those restaurants and make sure that they have the opportunity
Yes, sir.
to put something in there?
Yes, sir. Happy to
And
answer.
I'm assuming this will be free of charge to them.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
First, it would be totally free of charge. We're considering a couple of options, whether it's included in here or whether it's an insert that we slide in. The reason we're considering an insert, same page size, but we would just stick it in the middle, is that occasionally businesses open, unfortunately businesses close, hours change, phones numbers change. So we're considering putting an insert in it that would have all that information, so that if we miss something, we could always go back and add it. But hopefully further the longevity of these guides without having to republish them every time somebody opens or closes. So that's the thought process. I don't want to commit to that, but that's kind of where the thought process is now.
That's acceptable, but I do want to make it accessible to everyone,
Yes, sir.
every restaurant.
Yes, sir.
I'm with you, I mean, somebody gonna come in here and probably buy insurance from Jack, probably, you know, they may or may not, I don't know, just all depends. But, you know, they do want to come and, well, where can we go eat at?
Yes, sir.
You know, and where can we stay at or something?
Yes, sir. Well, we will definitely looking at putting that insert in and distributing them in a reasonable way, right? I'm not going to I'm going to see what business I can pick on. I'm not going to go to Franklin Mercantile and drop off a box of 100 and say, see you later. You know, let's drop off a handful of them. You need some more, happy to bring you some more,
Right.
you know. But that way we also don't have it distributed. They're getting lost, and at that point it becomes wasteful.
Yeah, right,
Uh,
right, that's true. That's true.
Anything else? Nothing. You good? Do you have a display at for brochures?
The one that Mr. Hartley brought me.
Just
And
the
we-
one?
Right, just that little stand that we put the OSD, and those, several people took those, but get a lot of requests. Where are the good restaurants and what can we do in this place, you know? That's
Okay.
what they mainly
I'm
wanna
sure.
know.
Right.
I still like, you know, and I'm terrible with this, where you take your phone and you take the picture and.
QR code?
PR.
QR code, yeah.
I'm terrible with that, but I still like that idea. You
Yes,
know.
sir.
Could that be incorporated into this?
Sure. And even on the displays we're talking about, you could put an easy sticker on there where, you know, pick up a copy or scan this today type of deal. And it would link it, if the PDF is on the Chamber's website, then it would go there. If indeed there was, if the county does its own tourism marketing, we link it to that website. You know, wherever it needs to link to, we can get it to link there for sure.
Because you know, I know a lot of people are doing that. I'm still new to it, but a lot of people
Sure.
are doing that.
Sure.
And it's something that can be updated pretty easy. I mean, you know, it can be updated, you know.
Especially because they don't want to carry it, right? It's small enough that you can stick it in your purse, you can stick it in a back pocket. In fact, that's the first test I have, Commissioner, is can I stick it in my back pocket and carry it with me? But they will scan a QR code where we can follow it along and search inside of the document, that sort of thing.
I would like to see that incorporated in
Sure.
this somehow.
We can certainly do that.
I like it. It's a good start.
Mm-hmm.
Necessary.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Appreciate you coming. Any other discussion?
No.
Nope, hearing none. Would we make a motion?
Make a motion, we accept it.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for approval of $8,000 for the destination guide. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Thank you, Mr. Pullen. Thank you. Item 6, strategic plan budget review. I think it's probably the last pages of your packet there.
Is down there?
John, you still there?
I am, yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, good.
And
Miss-
and I'd
Miss-
like to mention also that our president of North Star, based in Jacksonville, Will Ketchum, is also on our call. So he's going to be joining us in this discussion today.
All right, very good. Good to have you both with us. Thank you for calling in.
Mr. Chairman, it's not, you don't
Yeah,
have
we
to stay
appreciate this,
if
and
you
I
don't
look
want
forward
to.
the conversation.
I just thought it was interesting.
Oh, well, no, fine, stay, but you know, it's not a requirement. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
All right, so we're reviewing some draft budgets that includes expenses for personnel, marketing, promotionals, all that good stuff. Is the first thing we're looking at. Well, it looks like there's two of them, really. That's the same thing.
Sarah, do you happen to have a copy of the budget you could shoot me real quick, email me real quick?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, thank you. Would you mind just shooting that to me real quick?
You want me to start and go on?
Yeah.
One of those.
Our
Yeah,
budget
that was mine.
suggestions, is that part of this? I'm just not
It's
seeing
the,
it.
behind that strategic plan, Danny. It was the last three
last.
pages.
Okay.
No, what's on your
Oh, right here,
portfolio there.
right here.
At the, should be a separate 3 pages
Oh, I
stapled
see,
together.
okay.
It's actually 2, I think.
One of these drafts I put together, let me just go over it, and then we can go to the others. The revenue, I extrapolated from what the last 6 months was, what we had was showed, and then there was 3 months that we had to build into it But it came out to right at 363,000. The interest income was 24,652, which gave a total projected income of 387. One of the things that has in this that as we look at potential expenses, there's obviously from the tourism and marketing director, those are numbers that we can work with. I talked to Sarah, and there's probably some room to lower that from the 70, from the market that's in our county. Key to this is the marketing and promotion, also the local grants. If we cut the local grants, then we just spent 25% of it. If we continue at the level of grants, one of the suggestions I made in this is that we cap the request so that we can help more people. Because if we keep giving out $15,000 and $20,000 and $25,000 grants, then we're going to get halfway through the year and we're going to run out. And so if we're able to, if everybody knows that, and so we put it at $8,000 to $10,000 cap, then what happens is that we're able then to serve more of the population. My question is, how much can we actually use? Or are there any stipulations on what funding can we use based on our charter?
There is, but that was, the board directed after this plan and budget was presented to bring back the ordinance for changes.
Okay.
So you guys could request the ordinance to match whatever you
Okay.
talk about here. Right now, it does restrict it, but we do need to update that.
That's why we're going through this process, is to get that plan updated. The
Okay.
county commissioners tasked us with bringing back a new strategic plan to replace the existing one before they would entertain any changes to the TDC legislation.
Now, the other 2%, are we still, it has to be put on the ballot and voted on?
That does, yep.
So we're a couple of years, or a year out from even entertaining.
Depends, we might could get it on the ballot this year if we can get things done here in a timely manner. And,
Because that would give us an extra, and I do like the $8,000 cap. I do like that, but if we get the other 2%, then maybe we could increase that.
Mhm.
May I just have a question, real quick, and obviously this is y'all's decision, I just want to be able to answer any questions you might have. Sarah sent me 3 different attachments. Can you tell me which budget we're looking at?
and
We ju-
Right.
One that tells us
It's
365.
in that header.
yeah, Baker County TDC budget draft FY 2026 was the one that Roger was discussing. That's the one he submitted.
And I think I used one of these and just changed the numbers.
Yeah, I think the difference used was the grant allocation to 100,000 from 140 is the only change. Looks like.
Right, I think you're right.
Yeah, so there's 2 of them with that heading,
Right.
and
Right,
one
and I
of them just
used-
has a little different,
So mine was 100,000, yours was 140.
that's
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Yep, the local grants was
Okay.
reduced on one and the contingency was increased
And the.
compared to the other.
Contingency was increased to 55 from 15, and the.
Jack, if it might help John, tell him we're looking at the Word documents, is the ones
Yeah.
that we're talking about right now.
All right,
The
well,
other one was an Excel
Yeah,
file.
so Sarah,
Yeah, these should be, I guess, 1 and 2.
yep, Sarah said we're looking at the Word document right now. If that helped you.
Yes, sir. I see.
Okay, all right.
Well, the one that, I'm sorry, what I see here is one has the salary benefits 70, marketing promotion 70, branding study 30, local grants 140.
That's correct.
Are we looking at the same one?
Yes, that's the one we're looking at right now. The other one with that same heading, it just changed the local grants. It reduced it to 100 and added that 40,000 to contingency. That was the only difference between those two.
And the reason why, I did it that way is because, I'd like to, at some point in time, must be able to stand in front of something that we've done,
Yep.
some structure or something.
Yeah, so the other one is one I submitted, the TDC annual budget 2026, 2027, and I took that into consideration, Danny, that I'd like to continue to try to accumulate some funds for some capital project down the road, whatever it may end up being. And so I kind of was a little
So-
conservative in my numbers on some of the things in comparison.
So yours actually, 150 and 10, about $160,000 would go into contingency.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, that's good, though. I'm not, Because I would at some point in time be able, whether it's 5 or 10 years out, be able to stand in front of something and say, we did this, And I know it's not gonna be overnight, I realize that. But if we just kind of give it away in little bits and pieces every year, we're not gonna have a lot to show for it.
That's right. John, you were going to say something?
Yes, sir, I was just gonna say, what you proposed here, I think very much supports the strategic plan, in terms of all the major points, but, your director, your marketing sales activity, commercial sales activity is pretty important, your branding study. And I understand the importance of local brands as well. This appears to me to kind of balance that out. And the second part of that also, folks, would be, that if this department is doing its job well, you're gonna be seeing an annual increase in your license tax collections as well. So that will give you as the PCC an opportunity to, increase any element of this budget as you go along.
Right.
Because the money that you're spending on tourism is going to yield more, tax dollars back to you, more lodging tax dollars back to you. So you'll, as you're talking about in the 10 years out, we'll be able to show, what you did with this money. I think very easily you'll be able to see it in lodging tax collection increases and so on. So, and in the actual, marketing that you do and that type of thing. So.
But I do kind of like that, starting out kind of low and then we can add to it as we see. I think it was an email. I think you put it out today.
Well, and the really great advantage that you guys have that I have never seen with any other startup tourism agency is this kind of a budget doesn't eat in at all into your the money that being the reserve fund that will still be sitting there. And if an emergency came up and absolutely had to do something, you can always go back and request the funds out of that. But this is a very, in my opinion, a very logical budget because it's based on annual lodging tax collection and doesn't impact, which is of no cost to the citizens of Baker County. And it preserves your reserve funds as well. So makes sense. I mean, you could have gone filming on the county commission and said, well, we've got 1.5 in the reserve fund and we're talking about $365,000, so we would like a $2 million budget. That would have flown real well. But,
We all know that.
The director position, there was an email I think put out today or yesterday where that started out as maybe a part-time position.
There was a budget proposal submitted with a request to have the position at part-time, and I sent you guys these budgets and, what those rates would be.
And that was my request.
Oh, it was?
Yes.
Well,
I just feel like, this is great, but I guess you gotta show me more of what do we have here to offer people. who's gonna come to Baker County and what are they gonna do? We kinda sometime got off of our vision a little bit. I feel like we were gonna have something for them to do. That was our main purpose. And now we've shifted to getting somebody to market it, which I think you have to do that. But what are they marketing? I mean, you honestly tell me what somebody's
The
gonna
front
do.
page of that right there.
This is something
I know
that,
we have the river, and I know, well, right now we don't, because there's no water in it, but, you know, we have the park, but, I mean, I think that's a lot, that's why I said maybe part-time, or even, I would even consider trying to go with the chamber and let them kinda run the tourist park, because most places you go to, I've noticed on these little Georgia towns that I've been to, that's where you go that handles these things. So I think to start out smaller, maybe, I don't know. I just think we need to look at some of those
and
things.
it's good. I'm not opposed to a part-time at all, but I was amazed when I saw this, at what we do have with, John, I'm looking at the river and the article that came out in the back roads. But I would like to see us help a canoe group get established at Shoals Park. So there's a business there that people can go out and jump in a canoe and sign indemnification papers and go down the river.
Now that's something the press puts out.
This,
Yeah.
press put this out.
Yeah.
I
And they
mean,
mail it out every quarter. I think,
yeah,
or
but it's,
whatever.
but you
Oh, I
read
know,
through this,
yeah.
this thing is amazing.
Oh, it
And
is.
I had no idea. And, you know, we've been here a long time. And so, but the whole thing is that people don't know that. And I think we have a lot to offer, but again, someone not only promotes that, but also, you know, baseball, softball, you know, tournaments, go out and establish those and set those up. It all brings income in. But I envision that position doing that coordinating with those entities and making sure that we have weekends full. And again, I think it's a real need, but I understand it doesn't have to be full-time.
Well, if it is a part-time position, and I think who was saying that the chamber could possibly do it?
Well, they've run through a lot of those. I mean, that's what you see in a lot of areas, the chamber handling tourism. That's where people would go when they come to McClenny is, and maybe that's where this person needs to be housed, this part-time person, if that's the direction of the board. And
Well, we have the chamber director here. What is your opinion? Because, I mean, we're talking about laying something on you without
Sure.
you.
Mr. Chairman, members of the council, Commissioner Hartley's point, it's up to the pleasure of the council and the Board of Commissioners. Surrounding counties do it one of three ways. You either house it inside county staff. You see that typically with your larger counties. You typically don't see that with your smaller counties. They either form a visitors bureau to house this person in, or they host it at the chamber. I will use the example of Putnam County. The Putnam County Chamber right now is who rural counties like us are looking to for leadership and guidance, and they do chamber economic development and tourism. And there's a reason for that. The reason is the hip bone's connected to the thigh bone in my world, right? Everyone's a tourist before they're a resident. Everyone's a tourist before they're an economic development prospect. Everybody's a tourist before they open up a small business. And so we just work so closely together that it just makes sense. Is it something that we would be open to? I'd love to have a conversation with the chairman, with Ms. Little, and we would be open to it. I'd just like to know hey, what's expected so that we fulfill our obligations. You'll find I'm very big on, if I commit to it and put my name on it, we're gonna follow it and cross every I and cross every T and dot every I rather, and make sure that we do it right. I don't know your budget, but I if one number was thrown out there earlier, I think we could well meet that request, with some conversations.
Okay, there was two numbers, because it was the part-time number was 30,000.
The part-time number was up to 30. Those are range from $24,960 to $28,080. That was for a position though, not
Yeah,
contracting.
right. Which was what we'd actually be doing through the chamber's contract right now.
Yeah. So I met with Sarah before the meeting and talked to her a little bit about that. And my concern on the part-time position is the quality of the individual you're gonna get and their experience. I do know that in smaller communities throughout the southeastern United States, that the chamber is usually the go-to place for visitor information. And I think that whether we contracted with them or some other organization, that may be what I feel like might be the best route to go. I think we can, maybe a little bit with John's help, come up with some deliverables for the first year and what the expectations are from our perspective, and then see what kind of proposals we can get from them and anybody else that may be interested, you know.
Could you
If I can speak into that.
Yes, sir.
That is, so was one of the options we looked at, was putting together a strategic plan. And obviously this would be y'all's direction. If this is a direction that you want to study, and look at, then you're really not at the point of being ready to adopt a strategic plan. Because right now, the strategic plan takes us in a different direction.
Right.
So, and obviously we could rewrite the plan. That's not an issue, but I tend to agree that it needs it's gonna have to be fleshed out a little bit, because it'll affect everything. It'll affect your budget, it'll affect, your personnel, and what you're gonna have going forward. And by the way, welcome, Mr. Post. I have had that to meet you yet. Well, when my first experience with the Commission of Visitors Bureau, we were a part of the chamber, and as you said, that does work very well in some cases. Part of your budget, I think, would probably have to be there would have to be a discussion on part of the chamber board and the TDC about such things as would the chamber need an administrative fee for doing this program? Well, that'll take part of your budget. And can the tourism program adequately represent all of the tourism interests, all the hotels, all the restaurants, et cetera, even if they're not chamber members? So I think those are things that would have to be worked out before you actually adopt a strategic plan. That's just, and I'll be glad to help you with that. But I don't know that you want to present a commission plan that you're not all, that you haven't thought through these options first. So that's my 2 cents worth.
Well, this board would have more control over an employee of the county. That's for sure.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes.
I'm sorry,
And back when John and I had our initial conversations when he was here touring the county, I did speak to the commissioners about what their idea of this would look like. And they preferred a county staff person to do that, which is the reason why John wrote that as the strategic plan. We talked about consults and contracts and all of those things versus county employee, and that's the reason why his plan was directed that way.
I do kind of like the idea of the part-time position and moving up as we see that position, as it grows. That's just my 2 cents.
It's all about the personnel. If you find the right person, part-time can work very well. Obviously, our commissioners are all part-time. And it works very well. But it's all about the personnel. We'll find the right person.
So the way our plan is written right now, it's for an employee.
Yes.
So even Mr. Poland, if he makes a proposal where we're talking another month or two, because this would have to be rewritten.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, and it would be important, I think, obviously, for, you know, if you want to rewrite the plan, or, you know, if we move the plan in a different direction, then I think there would need to be discussions, obviously between the TDC, with myself and Mr. Pullen, myself and Sarah, or, you know, all together, however, we just kind of, we really need to nail down some of the nuts and bolts of, that doesn't make sense, it's nail down the nuts and bolts.
There you go.
We would need to get into the grass, into the grass, we need to get a little weeds in it, and come back with a plan that would reflect whatever the decision is of the TDC, and at that time, a budget that would follow along with that plan, whatever, if it's gonna be housed in the county, if it's gonna be housed in the chamber, if it's gonna be a full-time person, a part-time person, it just seems to me we need to have some more discussion. But again, that's up to you guys, obviously.
I'm just sort of thinking that there may be some duplication, because if people are contacting the chamber for tourist information, then if somebody contacts the
Right.
chamber, then the chamber is just going to say, well, you gotta call Betty Sue, and they work for the county.
Right.
Because, I mean, we're just getting
The way
started.
I've seen, right, the way I've seen it work in these cases is that, as you said, in small or even startup types of tourism programs that are often housed in the chamber, because you don't have to duplicate many of those services. You already have administrative staff in place, you already have, you have copy takers. You've got all those things that are part of the functioning office. There are sometimes some conflicts between does the person have to be a chamber member to get tourism type of services, and
Well, for me, that would be a deal breaker. That would be a deal breaker for me if the chamber required that. Because,
Right, exactly. So I think that's one of the discussions that would have to take place.
Oh, yeah, and I think that
And-
would,
and-
could be handled easily.
And for example, in the chamber that I work with, as their tourism person, it was an understood agreement that if you are being funded by county funds collected by, in particular, lodging, then it was the mandate for the tourism program to represent everybody.
That's right.
Obviously, the chamber has a different structure, and chamber services should only be provided to chamber members. It can work, and to be honest with you, I have seen it happen many times. You basically incubate it in the chamber, and then as the program grows, as it begins to develop into itself, then at some point you say, okay, thank you, chamber, for all you've done for us. We're now going to establish our own commission and district bureau as a separate entity, but it incubates within the chamber.
Right.
Sometimes it stays within the chamber, it works very well. So there's a lot of options.
This obviously is a startup, and so we're looking to develop events, activities, things to bring people to the county. That's what this position brings. And so if,
Correct.
my concern is if we half invest in it, we're gonna get half results.
I don't disagree with you. And it is housed in the chamber, part of the budget that the chamber received from, or part of the budget for the total of tourism would include the salary of the tourism person, funded out of the tourism.
John, hold up just a second. There's a plane going by. Or a helicopter.
Yeah, we're talking, right. Yeah, hold on just a second. We got a helicopter landing at the hospital over here, life flight, and we can't hear you. All right, let's pick it up, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry, what else? even within the funding mechanism, we'll say that it's a full-time person housed in the chamber. And again, these are things that can be worked out. Are they a chamber employee? Are they a county employee housed in the chamber? How does that work? But in any case, that if the salary of that person would come out of the CD, of the lodging tax collections, not out of the chamber budget. It would not be a financial draw against the chamber's operations. In fact, it could help it, quite frankly. So, it's just, I think there's there's just some discussions that we need to take place, I think, before. I don't think, if this is the direction, I mean, we're not ready to present the commission this month, which was my original thinking, that we were going to do that. I don't think we're there. So it might do us well to kind of rethink that.
Is this an issue, John, is this an issue we need to get direction from the commission before we even make this presentation? I mean, otherwise, we may be visiting something, looking for a consultant instead of an employee that we'll be wasting our time on.
Yes, sir, I agree with you. I think you will have to take, there will have to be some discussions. As Sarah said earlier, when in our initial discussions when I was on site in Baker County, and talking with you folks, talking with Sarah, talking with the industry down there, the mandate at that time, my understanding was that the commission wanted this to be a county function. It is not going to be a county function, and that's going to have to be a discussion that you guys would have with commissioners before, before you adopt your plan.
Right.
In the end, they're going to be the authorizing agency.
That's right.
Either way around.
Yep.
So, if they're okay with it, then we can proceed in that direction. If they're dead set against it, then that's not the direction to go. And again, you have you have new leadership in the chamber. I don't know. There's a lot of dynamics that are involved in that kind of a decision.
No doubt.
My recommendation to you would be that we have a few more discussions. The document, we all have a document.
Right, yes.
Things like marketing, the marketing, promotion, sales, branding, all of that is going to stay the same because those are the things that are going to happen for your tourism program. Your issue now is organization and staffing.
Right.
For where is it going to be housed and who's going to do it? May I recommend that we just have a couple of further discussions that can be by Zoom, that can be, I can come back down. I will have to say that we're probably at a point where, and Sarah and I can talk about this, we might have to, and Will may still be on the call, I'm not sure, we may need to look at, this is actually beyond the scope of work in the original contract. So, we might have to have a little adjustment there in our fee as North Star.
All right.
That's not my call, that would be Will and you guys. But, I think at this point, it sounds to me like you're not, I don't mean this critically, it's what the discussion's leading us to. You're not ready to adopt the plan as it is, because as it is right now, it says this is a county employee, this is a county department. And there just seems to be enough question right now of whether or not that's the direction you want to go. So, might I recommend let Sarah and I have a conversation after tomorrow or something like that, and just see what our next steps might be. I do not mind coming back down, and we need to have I'll be glad to meet with Mr. Cole, and I'll be glad to meet with the commissioners if you want me to. Although those are probably discussions that are better held by you and your commissioners to get that direction. And maybe we just can work out, and Sarah, of course, and work out some of the, maybe we look at it as both, let's present both and see what the will of the commission is. And we know we have a set amount of money that we know we're working with either way. So we know the program of work is not going to change. So we can work within those parameters and kind of get to a place where we go, okay, if we do it if we house it in the chamber, incubate it in the chamber, this is how we'll do it. If we do it in the county, this is how we'll do it. You know, as Dylan said earlier, you know, they're already doing some of that function. So, you know, maybe that's a good place to put it. And Dylan, I haven't been on the chamber's website in a couple of 3 months, for example. One of the things that surprised me when I was doing my initial research is it had some tourism sections. At that point, it only listed chamber members, which of course is an issue. So, you know, it's going to take a lot of conversation to make that happen. May I just suggest that's a real consultant suggestion, isn't it? We need to talk.
Yes.
But I don't think you're ready to move forward on this today, for example. So I would recommend let Sarah and I talk sometime this week, and perhaps Mr. Pullen and I can talk, and in the meantime, you folks kind of gauge the temperature of the commissioners, see what their thoughts are on this, and then we can go forward from there. Just a thought.
Mr. Chairman, I'd also like for us to discuss at some point in this, what is our objective here? You know, is it to stand in front of a building? I'm not sure. When we left the whole Civic Center, when we left that objective, I'm not sure we've ever talked about standing in front of the building. I think it's our objective to bring people to the county. If that's our objective, then you know, and we're setting on a good amount of money. So a budget to hire somebody to really go after that is not a risk in my mind. But if that's not our objective is to save money so that we can build something, I'm just not sure that's our objective. I just need to hear that and what that would be. Just food for thought.
I have a question, Mr. Poland. Would you have to hire somebody to do this, or can you? I know you're still trying to figure out where the
Sure.
bathroom's at properly.
Sure.
But
That would depend. Let me just say, not agreeing to anything here, you know, just having the
right, yeah,
conversation.
we're just having a
right?
conversation.
Just-
Right. Because if you have to hire somebody,
Sure.
well, then we might as well just hire.
Sure, well, and that's where, and just for perspective, I have done this before. In my last chamber, we had a contract with the county in the sense of what was very simple was every year we went before South Carolina Accommodation Hospitality Tax Review Committee, same thing as the TDC. We'd request money. Part of that would be for administrative cost, and part of that was, the vast majority of it's promotional. What we did was we hired somebody. That's there. Here, I'm in a place where I'm hiring somebody right now. If you got any applicants, let me know. And there might be an additional staff in the future that we're already taking on. So I would say that if we were going to have this conversation, now would be the time to have this conversation with us as we're looking at where our staffing is going to want to go. If it would be the pleasure of the council, I'm happy to make a proposal. And let's talk it out, you know, and Sarah and I are always in communication. We have a great working relationship, so, you know, I'm happy to talk with Sarah. I will state that I think we would understand that this would not just be for chamber members. We already serve the Development Commission, Hospital Authority. We're familiar with how to do these type of things and do them well. This would not be for chamber members. You would typically see two different websites, right? A county website designated towards tourism, not getting cluttered in a chamber website with all of our members. Those sorts of things, we're familiar with how to do them, and we can do them.
But would it be possible, Sarah, at the next county commission meeting, put that on the agenda? And I'm not trying to lay something on you, Mark, but you could be our spokesperson on that idea. Well, I don't know.
What's-
I'm just throwing
what's
it
she
out.
gonna tell 'em?
I think I think we need to maybe not this next one, but maybe the next
I need to have some conversations with them.
one, because I may not be there.
Oh, okay,
So
well,
that,
okay,
with the
okay.
spring break, we've kind of got plans, so.
Because, I mean, if it, with the county commission, if it's, no, we want our own person, well, okay, well, sorry about that, we just do our own thing. But if they're open to it and it's sold in a way that, you know, like the discussion that we're having, they may be open to it, I don't know, you know?
I
But-
think you have that option that they have to look at, sort of like.
If I may, you guys don't mind. So we've been collecting this tax for a long time, and I've been with the county for 21 years. We have not done anything substantial with this money in 25 years. And all of the conversations that we've had throughout a long period of time, in my opinion, has come to fruition in this plan that's before you all today. So the direction from the county commissioners, I can certainly have a conversation with them again. I don't mind doing that about that. And nothing about any contract service or the chamber at all. The direction for a county staff person was because you have control over that. So we, in the past, have had contract positions. You don't get a lot of say-so in the outcome and the product of that. It's more difficult to control. So at the time when I had that.
But I do want accountability. I don't want to hire somebody and it just get in the fluff of what's going on. And that's why I keep going back to accountability.
Well, and I
because-
think too,
You
the
have-
chamber is completely a different thing than contracts we have out with companies. That's, the chamber's kinda here. Makes a little bit of difference to me.
And we can always cancel the contract with the chamber.
But we've, in a program, there is accountability, there's to meet with us monthly.
Well, I would expect the chamber to possibly do that and that be factored in. If we went that route. If we went that route.
If it's well thought out, it can work. But again, it goes back to, as Sarah said, and several of y'all said, you really need to get you need to get the will of the commission, first, and see if they're even open to the idea. The general consensus and the rule of thumb, and Dylan probably knows, the chambers and by the way, the strategic plan calls for a totally separate tourism site. It would be administered by whoever is administering it, but yes, it would be different from the chamber site. So you could easily juggle both of those. But, the primary mission of a chamber is to get people to come and stay. And the primary mission of a tourism bureau is to get people to come and leave. So, you just have to kind of you have different missions, you have different end goals, but they can work together. They can work under the same umbrella. I've done it. I've seen it done many times very successfully. But I've also seen it go to a government agency. I've seen it go to a private agency. There are companies out there who will do your tourism program for you. I do not recommend them at all because you use half of your budget paying them to do the job, which just wastes your money. So, again, it can all work. Every one of those situations can work. It's just a matter of making sure everybody feels comfortable with it. Everybody's going to support it. Everybody knows what the ground rules are going in. That it doesn't decrease either the effectiveness or quite frankly, the budget of either organization, either the chamber or the tourism agency. That in fact, it does both. One of the advantages to a tourism program being housed in the chamber is you quite often will find that other non-tourism related businesses will get on the bandwagon. They'll start to understand that tourism does affect them. That if I'm running a store, a department store, I like to see visitors come in. If I'm a banker, I like the results of additional money coming into the community. You can sometimes build stronger support for your tourism program, particularly in a startup situation, which is where you guys are at. You can build a lot of support for your tourism program by involving the quote non-tourism businesses and entities in the community to support it. There are advantages and disadvantages to both. In fact, I think in the strategic plan, there's some. I'm looking at pages now. In the addendum, there are advantages and disadvantages of the different organizational models, including government agency, part of a chamber, and as an independent. So you might want to look over those again too. They kind of lay out what's like page 37, I believe, or something like that in the strategic plan. So you might look at that too. Just that'll kind of help you think. But I'm with Sarah on this. I think she takes the pulse of the governing body, and that we all have another round of discussion. Pardon me, and not adopt the plan as it is. You really can't adopt your budget as it is because you're not sure which way it's going to go yet.
That's right.
I think we need a little more conversation. And I'll now shut up.
No, I think I think the conversation with the county commissioners on how they feel about it. I mean, we have one commissioner here that's telling us a little different, that he would entertain going to the chamber. So, I mean, I think we need to readdress that with the commissioners. We have one new commissioner on board, and get some clarity from them on. Go ahead,
Yes,
Jim.
and I was going to say my sincere condolences on the loss of your previous county commissioner. That was a very tragic thing, and I hope his family is doing okay.
Well, thank you, John. It was extremely tragic.
Yes, sir.
But to go back to answer your question, I don't know that we've lost sight of some of the things we've talked about, Roger. You know, when you talk about possibly having additional ball fields to bring travel teams in, and maybe an amphitheater and things like that.
True.
That's always in the back of my mind going forward of things that I hope we can accomplish, you know, and so that's why I was a little more conservative in my numbers and trying to, you know, I do know that the county commissioners told me in their meeting that they were debt adverse, so, that makes it a little difficult when you're trying to.
Very difficult.
Well, and the thing that's really advantageous to you folks right now is, you know, whatever you choose to do, however you choose to plant this agency and start this program of work. And I think in one of our discussions, I said, you know, you'll have to give this program of work, you know, 3-4 years to actually start turning the way you want it to turn. You can't just start an agency and expect it to double the income in a year. It doesn't happen that way with tourism. But you have already, if I understand correctly, Florida law, you know, you're not going to all of that money collected from the lodging tax has to be used for tourism in some way.
That's right.
So you've already got that. You're not going to have to charge the Baker County citizen a penny to do this program of work. And the other side of it is, again, you're not touching your reserve fund. All of that sits there for right now. Now, maybe 10 years down or 5 years down the pike, you know, the TDC may say, we've got this great idea for the utilization of that money, and it's going to bring in X amount of dollars for tourism. Well, it's still sitting there, so you're not going to lose anything in the process. I think you're in the catbird seat, quite frankly. And as I said earlier, I know a lot of communities who wish they had that kind of a dedicated funding for the program and a reserve fund. It really puts you in a really good spot. So, to me, that would be one of the selling points to the county commissioners and to the public. In the end, you're going to have to generate public support for this as well. And that it's not going to cost you anything.
Right.
It is totally paid for by, we always refer to them in the tourist industry, we call them temporary taxpayers because that's what they are.
That's right.
And you don't have to build schools for the children, you don't have to provide all those services, and yet they come, give you their money, have a very nice time, and go home. So, I really think y'all are in a good spot. Any way you choose to go.
I agree with you 100% on that. You know,
Well, it kind of looks to me like we have three options, and I'm okay with any one of the three, as long as there's some accountability. One is we hire somebody full time. The second one is we start out and we hire somebody part time, or we contract with the chamber, because there's duplication there. And now, we still don't know what the chamber's cost is. I mean, he may come back and say,
Right.
it's $100,000. Well, okay, well, that kind of answers itself, because we'd be better off to hire somebody.
If I
Sure.
can interject on that thought real fast, so because
Dylan,
of
Dylan, I come in at 95.9.
the,
95.9.
the
I just got
process-
that, yeah, 95.9,
That
okay.
was,
So county.
that was a joke.
Yeah, it was a joke. Yeah, we took it as a joke.
So
All right.
county procurement would not let you contract directly with the chamber. You would have to go out for RFP and
That's
seek
right.
proposals from firms that would offer this service. The
That's
county
right.
could not just select the chamber for that service
That's
because
right.
of the amount of that procurement process.
Yep, that's exactly right.
So if that's the direction of the group, after I speak with the board, we need to work on an RFP as well for that, because that, and what that selection criteria and scope of work would be. So keep that in mind.
Yep.
That's just adding more work to yourselves.
It also changed the scope of our current plan.
It does change the scope a little bit. It doesn't add any more work because regardless of which way we go, they're going, whether it's an employee or a contracted consulting firm or the chamber or whatever else, they're going to have a scope of work and deliverables that we demand of them. You know, so it doesn't matter which route you go on that.
And that's where your strategic plan comes in. Those are the benchmarks
Right.
that you could look at and say, this is what you've got to do. We have, as the CDC and ultimately then through the county commission, this is what we've adopted as the things you're supposed to do. And every single one of them, for the most part, you know, some of them you can't measure quantitatively.
Right.
But many of them you can.
That's right.
And you can say, did you do this year? Did you get this accomplished?
Right.
And again, when you get your person on board, they're gonna, they're gonna look at the strategic plan and say, this is a first-year project, this is a second-year project, all of that with your approval, of course.
Right.
But yes, sir, I agree with you. Got to, particularly when you're using public funds, that accountability, that ROI has to be demonstrated. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Absolutely. I mean, that's how you not get a contract renewed. If you don't deliver on the scope of work.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
Which would be part of your contract with the chamber if you went that direction. You would have to put within your contract with the chamber, these are the deliverables that we expect.
Right.
Type of thing.
That's right.
So, with anybody, any direction you choose to go, that accountability is going to be critical, I think.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So on the budget stuff here, I like your budget.
Yeah, I would recommend we drop the salary amount to
Well-
60,000 or in that range for full-time.
I'd like to drop that. I'd like to drop the marketing, promotion, and sales down some. And the product development, I want to keep the local grants at 140. I mean, initially, that's where we're at. I mean, that's the things we're doing now and the things in the early years that we're going to continue to do, because that's what's happening and that's how we can draw people to our community. And then increase that contingency as much as we can. The thing about that, twofold. Number one is try to put some more money back for capital project, possibly down the road. But number two is because of the fluctuation of these taxes that we would receive if we end up in a different economic time than we have been the last few years.
Yeah.
Because the revenues would be significantly less.
Yes.
What's your thoughts on
COVID
cap?
certainly helped us out.
What's your thoughts on capping the grants?
I
I understand we've got two or three that are ongoing that are high dollar amounts.
Yeah.
But in their defense, they are our largest bringing tourism in the county.
No doubt.
So, I mean, if you cut those, you don't have them, then you don't have tourism. And you've got these little events, not saying that they can't grow, but then you're kind of starting over again with those small events. That's the only thing I could see that could be a problem with capping them.
John? You about to say something? Okay.
Not me, no.
Okay, all right.
What if, I do like the idea of capping, because anything gets out of hand, you know, I mean.
Well, here's the thing, you pigeonhole yourself for one thing, if you do that. And you got, right now, a 5-member board that decides on how much money we're
That's
gonna
what
approve.
we cap
Regardless,
ourselves.
we can cap it ourselves,
Exactly.
you know. And-
If we will, absolutely.
No doubt, no doubt. And I mean, we can scrutinize every budget that's presented to us and say, look, you know, here's what we're willing to do. But otherwise, you put yourself in a predicament where they do come from the OSD battlefield and it's $15,000, you know? And that's a major,
Well, matter of fact, I was fixing to say, maybe we should be 15,000.
well, I don't think you put anything on there. I think we just use our discretion going forward, and I think maybe if we can get staff to give us the last 2 years of things that we funded and at what amount, so we have that budget in front of us on a consistent basis, and we're looking at that, and we know we want to do the OSD battlefield, we know we want to do the fireworks, we know we want to do spring blossom, whatever is working, you know, and then we've got some idea on how to budget that $140,000. Yeah. That's just my thoughts.
Yeah, that's fine, that's fine.
You know.
But if our reporting comes to us, and so that we've got, you know, like we set before 3, and then we know how much we got left, and we know we've got X number of dollars left for the next 6 months.
That's right.
Then, okay,
So we're gonna leave it at 140.
I think so.
that's my thoughts.
But I thought we'd cut some of the other stuff to raise that contingency up, you know, and just go from there, see what it looks like.
There's 22,000 left between what projected income is. and
Yeah,
what
I think
we're-
you add that back to the contingency
Mhm.
based on that revenue number. And if you cut marketing and promotion by 15,000, you still got 55,000 there, you know, and add that to the contingency. And it may very well end up being we didn't have enough revenue, you know, and that's gonna come out of that contingency. Or it may be, hey, we do get to add this so that to our capital fund
Mhm.
going forward, you know.
Mhm.
Because here's one thing about this 6-letter word, budget, it's a roadmap.
Exactly.
It's not etched in stone. Things are gonna be different than what we think they are gonna be as time goes on. I have certainly found that out in my current role, and
Well, like this $8,000 for the chamber, for what we just approved today.
Right.
Would that be part of the promotion and that?
well,
I think that would actually come under another item.
local grants, I think.
Well, would it, or would product development? I mean, that $8,000.
Oh, you notice, for the
Yeah, the $8,000.
The visitor guide,
Yeah.
no, that'd be under marketing, promotion, or product development, one or the
Exactly.
other, where you want, either way, or branding study, or in production, you know. That'd be somewhere else, it would not be in the local events. The local events, what this young
Yeah.
lady, what Miss Phillips brought, the fireworks, that's what I consider the local events.
But we got marketing, promotion, and sales activities.
Right.
Okay, would it fall under that? It should.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know, so, you know, that's not necessarily out of the local grants.
Yeah, right, yeah. no,
Local
no.
grants, in my opinion, are the events that are being put on.
Right, yeah, I was thinking, I was just thinking about this line item here.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
was thinking.
So are you suggesting that we cut the marketing some?
I think so.
What's number you're thinking?
I think 55. What do you think?
Yep,
I like your first on the 60,000 on the,
60,000.
Director.
Director,
yeah.
okay.
I mean, that's 10,
And
that's
then,
15,
and then we raise, that's 15 more, that's 30, 40,
25.
50. That puts us right at 55 at contingency.
I get 62 counting at 22.
Okay,
And put that at 0, that projected surplus back to 0.
mm-hmm,
And that leaves you 62 in the surplus.
mm-hmm.
contingency, whatever it may be. From that perspective, and then the main thing's gonna be direction from the commission on which route they wanna go on contractor, employee, full-time or part-time. Because I don't wanna present something to them and then say, well, here's what we think. Well, we should've got that up front then, before we bring it to
Yeah,
them.
right, yeah. There's no need, that's why I was saying that we're talking about three different possibilities.
Exactly right.
And,
And I'd like to have clear direction from them on what that looks like.
and I know, Mark, you said you're not gonna be at the next one, but, you know, I think you would, in my personal opinion, I think it would be good to take the lead on that, to sell it to you.
Well, me or Roger want to present it to begin
Yeah, I
with,
think
because
you
he
need
doesn't
to.
need to take the lead. He can make some comments while he's
Right.
in the void hour, but he doesn't need to take the lead on
Okay.
it.
No,
You
the
know.
chairman needs to
Yeah,
do that.
me or Roger, if whoever can make it, you know, based on our schedules, as the chair and the vice chair, should make that presentation. And then Mark can interject some things, you know, based on
Well-
our conversations for sure, you know.
And,
and what-
and I guess that's what I really meant.
Right.
You know, somebody that's on the board that.
Absolutely. No, that, we don't need to put Sarah in that position for that.
Right.
You know, it's one thing to say, the TDC recommended that you approve this expenditure, but this is a totally different deal, you know, and I don't think we need to.
And to be quite honest with you, I'm okay with either three.
Well, I don't-
Either three. I mean, but I don't think we need to discuss it anymore until we get direction.
That's right. I agree with that.
What I'd like to propose is we're real close to getting a draft budget
Oh, yeah.
with what we just went through.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd like to propose that we present this as a draft, so we can still make adjustments to it. Because whether we go with the chamber or whether we hire somebody, we're still gonna need that money right there to pay for it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But if we've got a draft that we can work from, then it just gets us closer to the goal line.
Yep. I agree 100%. Give them some more food for thought
And-
while we're having the
And-
conversation.
And our local grant, we can back that up with past statistics, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And present.
The 140 is what we spent last year.
Yeah.
It was what we
Yeah.
spent last year.
And I'd just like to see that broken down, so we got it as a reference, so you can look at it. My memory's not near quite as good as it once was.
Well, I was thinking, you know, that the commission, if we backed it up and said, hey, for the last 3 years, we've spent
Right.
about this.
That's right.
That would be, because
We
right
can get
now,
that.
we're just, you know, that number is just a number that we're fluctuating, but for them, if we back it up with statistics, then, you know, they're gonna look at it and say, oh, that's a firm number.
So I would like to recommend, with the changes that we talked about, putting a draft budget in that format, that the commissioners got something, when we talk to them, at least they got a thumb scale, and, you know, they can change anything, but at least we got something to present.
Yep. I agree. And so, you know, you see what we did on that? Can you make those changes? Went to 60 on the director, and to be honest with you, I don't know that you don't strike director for now and just leave tourism and marketing with salary and benefits, because it may be a third party. And so 60,000 there, 55 at marketing, promotion, and sales activity. Under projected net position, do away with that projected surplus and add that back into the contingency to come up with the total 387,682 that balances with the revenue. All
Did
right.
you do that, what was the contingency?
It's gonna be 62,682, I think, if my math in my head's right. And that's usually pretty good. My memory's not very good.
Okay, so what else are we doing away with?
The cap,
Yeah, we're gonna do away with the cap.
down at the bottom where it says cap,
Oh, yeah, do away with the cap, right. But how did we get the? far as
We
the
went to
number for-
60 on the director, the tour, and 55 on the marketing, promotion, and sales activities.
Right.
So everything else is the same?
Everything else is the same, so we added,
140
that's a
is-
reduction of 25,000, and we added that to the 15 in contingency, that makes that 40.
40,
And then the
okay.
projected surplus, the 22,682, we added that to the contingency too. That way it balances against the
So
revenue that
total
we're
is the
coming in.
Same thing,
Yeah,
you just took whatever you didn't spend and put it.
yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
May I ask a quick question too, just for my own information?
Yes, sir.
If you have, let's say you have to do $350,000 as their budget, and for some reason you only spend $330,000, are y'all allowed to carry that $20,000 over the next year or something like that? Or does it just go away?
No, as long as we collect it, you know, because that's, I mean,
Okay,
and,
all right.
yeah,
That's how we got the $1.5 million.
yeah, we'd like to have that 20, but,
Okay. Sure, I understand.
yeah,
I understand.
you know, but,
I've worked with budgets before that if they weren't spent, you lost them, and of course, it was ridiculous to see the feeding frenzy at the end of the budget year. How can we possibly spend this money, and it wasn't always on the best thing? So,
yeah, no doubt
I'm
about
glad
that.
That's not an issue.
Yeah, yeah, they have to watch that when it's tight budget years.
Yes, sir, sure.
All right, so,
Now, if we went the contract way, and I know John, I know I'm asking you a question you're not gonna wanna answer, but you say you
Yes,
gotta
sir.
rewrite this,
Yes, sir.
right? You'd have to rewrite this. Would that be a lot of
Yes,
money?
sir, yeah,
Would it
I'm
cost,
sorry?
would it cost a lot to rewrite it? Cause I think that needs to be
no,
factored
sir,
in.
I don't think so, because, again, we're not changing
the plan.
we're not changing the program of work. What's going to be involved is my time and conversations. It's going to be getting ready to make the changes.
Did we lose him?
No, he's thinking.
You there, John?
Cause if it was $200,000, well, that might answer the question too.
I think he says his hours.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, am I still on?
Yeah, now you are.
I'm sorry. Okay, sorry about that. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, and I've just emailed Sarah as well. I think there would be some additional fees because we've actually gone beyond the original contracted program of work at this point. It's not going to be a lot. It would just be an add-on to cover, this additional program of work. It's not going to be a budget cruncher at all. It's, some small amount. So, but yes, I think there would be some additional charges from North Star. Again, not enormous, but it's just part of the process.
Cause that has to be
And that would be
factored.
something that Sarah and Will, and then through Sarah, you guys would approve before it was ever done. So.
Cause that's something that has to be factored in too with that decision.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, if you want to pay me the $360,000 to rewrite the program, I will.
I thought your wife wouldn't move to Baker County.
No, he said rewrite the program. He didn't say come to work.
I tell you what, if you give me the $1.5 million that's in reserve, I can talk to my wife.
I think there'll be plenty beating the door down for that.
Yeah, and we'd all get in trouble.
We'd like the $1.5 million to hire a guy to come run our tourism program, and they would just. I bet every one of y'all would not get reappointed to the DDC.
Yeah.
We
So,
get hard
we
fed
appreciate
and run
that.
out
they
of
have no
money.
punishment for that.
Yeah. If it's,
Yes, but no, it's not gonna be a major amount, but I may have to do some. Sure.
all right, thanks, John. So
Yes, sir, yes.
with the revision to, I don't know how to, let's make this, draft number 1. How about that? Which is the one that had 140,000 for local grants. With the revisions lowering down the tourism marketing salary and benefits to 60,000, marketing, promotion, and sales activities to 55,000, doing away with the projected surplus, adding that, and the 25,000 difference in those other two categories, taking the contingency to $62,682 for a total expense of $387,682. And doing away with the $8,000 award cap. Any more discussion on that? Everybody all right with it?
I make a motion we accept as a draft.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to accept this as a draft budget. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign? Motion carried. So we're gonna leave item 7 alone for the time being until we, until the second meeting after the second meeting in, April with the county commissioners. What day is that?
And I will adjust my plan.
I don't think we need to schedule that if you guys go with the contracting board. John's got work to do, so he wouldn't present anything to the commissioners.
I wanna find out from them what they want us to do before we have John.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to call them and get that information.
What's the pleasure? I'll do whatever
Yeah,
you,
I think you need to,
Catch them up.
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, sounds like me or Roger one's going to the meeting.
Is there any way, Mr. Poland, is there any way that you could get maybe not a firm number, but?
Yeah, still had no
No,
idea.
no.
We have to go up for RFP, so you guys need to put out.
Nope, you
Yeah.
can't. No.
All right,
Um,
yes, sir.
One other item, just quick, we need a plan for how we get more members of our group.
Yes.
I have someone that's interested in the business owner. He's gonna fill out an app this week.
Good,
actually.
good.
Very
Because
good.
Part of our problem is that we should have had this meeting 3 months ago.
Yep.
And just, it's because we don't have enough members.
If I can get it back from him quickly, then maybe I'll get him on the agenda for next week. So
Right.
the next meeting, he could do that.
What about
Yeah.
that one too?
Mhm.
In addition? Okay, good. We talked
And,
about
and
that,
if I
right?
might just interject,
Yeah,
also
yeah.
remember in the strategic plan, pardon me, one of our recommendations was to get perhaps a representative from the, getting old is not good. You
Well,
forget that.
we resemble that.
The campground, yes, okay.
From Island.
Throw that in there, because they do contribute a ton of tax, lodging tax collection.
Well,
Yep.
they've had a change of hands. Is that not correct?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The campground has,
The
yes.
RV.
They come into our hotel trying to take my people. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they've gone corporate now.
Somebody got him a good payday. Anyway, thank you for your time, John. And Will, is that right?
Yes, sir. Sarah, I will follow up and call with you sometime this week if that works in your schedule.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye. What
That was a
date's
few-
that second meeting?
April
21st?
21st.
Roger, it was a few people that were there. I'm not sure if it's a group that owns it now or what,
Okay.
but there were a few people.
So it's just an LLC that bought it, a group of investors?
Not 100% sure. I just know they stayed at the hotel with me, and there was a few of them with a few rooms. So I'm thinking maybe a group of investors. I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I didn't really.
that would make sense.
Anything else for the good of the order?
I have one thing.
Yes, sir.
I do appreciate getting the packet 2 days early. That, and I apologize, because I think I was the reason why we didn't meet last month, but I had a window of something that came up, and I didn't know if we was gonna have a meeting or not, so I took that window, and it just, you know, but if we could be told, you know, say on Monday, definitely on Wednesday, you know, we're gonna have the meeting, then, you know, that really worked out good for me.
We'll try to do better.
That's, yeah.
Me and Sarah will try to do better.
Well, yeah, most of the time it don't matter, but last month it did. And-
No, I agree with you 100%. Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right. Thank y'all very much.